maybe a couple better ideas today to talk about. But first and foremost, day 25, gratitude. Almost a day 31. Goes quick. It's fun to look back on. I think maybe what we'll do is, I don't know if I'll do a quick read. Maybe split it up across 2 episodes. I think 10 minutes the 31 days would probably eat up all of 10 minutes. Maybe split it up. But anyway, day 25, gratitude. This was an easy one. I got a haircut today, which is one of my favorite things in the world. To just, I don't really do. I just kind of sit there, chat a little bit. Smells great. Straight razor shave on the back of the neck. It's like, might even be better than the haircut. I used to leave the wherever barbershop and think about, I would almost wish my hair would grow back overnight so I could just go in and get it cut the next day. I don't know why. For me, it's like one of the most relaxing things on the planet. I'm one of those weirdos too. Like, I like going to the dentist, not if I'm getting something crazy done, pull all my teeth out. Though when I did get my wisdom teeth pulled out, I challenged the guy. He said it would be really easy. And I said, how fast do you think you could do it? And he gave me some time, and I said, bet. And he did. He popped them out quick. I timed him. I was pretty impressed. And then I was walking around the pharmacy growling at people. So that went well. But anyway, yeah, grateful for getting my hair cut. Barbershop I get to go to. It's awesome. Feeling pampered like that. It's killer. Really one of the best things in the world. For those people out there, if you have something like that, you got to do it more often. Treat yourself. You know what I mean? I was thinking about a handful of things today. Barbershop aside, getting pampered, gratitude, things like that. One of the things I was thinking about, been spending, a fair amount of more time outside in the last year and a half, 2 years on a daily basis than I ever have. Correlates. I just generally feel happier. And then that got me thinking, and probably a lot of people have read this, and I've read snippets of it. Michael Easter's Comfort Crisis, and he talks about a neuroscientist, Rachel Hopman, who has this discussion about spending, X amount of minutes outside per day. It's like 20 minutes a day, and then 5 hours a week, maybe it's a month, and 3 days a year off the grid. But just, being outside correlated with general mood, happiness, even in cold weather, and because it's been particularly cold again here. It's just something. I'm not saying just go out and be cold and be miserable, and I'm not saying go glamping, but even the process of just having the right gear, getting all the gear on, going outside, feeling appropriately warm, but also feeling that little crisp, chill air, just how clean cold air smells, watching the animals do their thing outside. There's just a real joy to it. There's no real risk, but a little bit of that cold, I think, just makes you feel really good. So I was thinking about that because I think generally my mood has been better. My body definitely feels better with the amount I move. And it's crazy to me. I've been teaching coaching fitness for a long time. And I do think fundamentally, maybe this is a little bit of a hot take, I think fundamentally it's a pretty straightforward thing. It's not very complicated. There's nuance to it, of course. It's not to demean anybody who puts a lot of effort into it. But the parameters and the goals and the steps, it's not a mystery. And I've talked about this before too, is I think it's easy to lose sight of what people want versus what they need versus how easy it is for them to achieve these things. And I was always so puzzled about, why people were so stiff and sore coming into the gym. And it was a little bit of a blind spot because I lived a very active lifestyle growing up, still to this day. But there was a short time, more than a short time, it was almost probably 6 months, where I did very little exercise. And I would go through binge exercising. I would work out really hard for 3 days and not work out for a month. And was doing a ton of desk work. it was the worst I've ever felt. And what was really cool about it in hindsight now was, one, it gave me great perspective and empathy of like people who, and I have a desk job now, but I try to stay pretty mobile, try to do the standing, try to stay active throughout the day. Like any chance I get, the excuse is to go walk the dogs, 10 minutes between a meeting, walk the dogs, lunchtime, walk the dogs, wake up, you guys get the idea. And a lot of this is just being outside, moving around. But I will say at that point in time in my life when I wasn't doing that, I was just basically at the desk every day. It was no shit the worst I've ever felt. My back hurt all the time. My legs and calves were really tight. It was kind of funny to me looking back on it. It's probably not funny for anyone who's like quote unquote desk bound and having a hard time getting away from it. But it just gave me such real empathy of even just the smallest glimpse of what it might be like for somebody to come in and just kind of start and be so sore, crippled sore, be like, I'm never doing that shit again. Because they're just so removed from that kind of activity. So also really grateful for just the outdoor time, but we're gonna just keep it to the barber and the straight razor. Very special. So that's gonna get its own gratitude day. And a kind of unrelated note to all that, one of the things I've been thinking a lot about lately, and this kind of started from a place of humor, is just communication and how important communication is to so many things and how easy it is to mess things up. Or things just get messed up in the process of communication. And I think some of that it's just humans. There's a lot to keep track of. We have a lot of thoughts. It's pretty challenging to convey exactly what you mean about something to somebody else. And, you see this go down in big organizations, like a really simple idea gets changed and then by the time it gets to maybe somebody who it's supposed to get to, it's slightly different. I see this in, close relationships a lot. Cassandra and I always joke about this because we're 100% going to be the couple where like she's never loud enough and I can't hear anyway. Because even now it's constantly like, huh? What'd you say? What was that? And I do think part of this is one of the things I was realizing. Someone was talking to me today at the gym, and we were transitioning between classes, which is a really good place to have an excuse to maybe not be paying as much attention as you possibly could. I was doing something, turning down the music on the iPad or something, or just setting up like the next banger playlist, putting, since all millennials are talking about it, putting Not Like Us on repeat for the next 15 classes. But someone was talking to me and I was talking back, and we were having a fine exchange. But they were sharing something and I wasn't really like looking. I think, and this person was on their way out, so they were sharing stuff and not always looking. And I think there are times and place for conversation like this. But I do notice, especially when these little like, moments happen at home, like, what'd you say? What about the milk? It does make me realize probably how little multitasking I actually need to do and how much more valuable and efficient and to the point my life would be if I did less multitasking, which I inherently despise because I like doing a lot of things. And I like the concept of being able to multitask, even if, a lot of it out there suggests that human beings are not particularly great at it. But yeah, that's kind of where my head was at today, was like, and there's also just something, it's going to sound creepy as hell. There's also just something so rewarding about kind of like staring somebody in the eyes and having a conversation with them and just listening and taking it in, and giving honest reactions. You just get so much more out of it. Those conversations are so much more memorable. I just don't think I can't remember many conversations where where there's just words and no other like body language or physical cues of the conversation. But when both are tied together, it's a lot more impactful. So that was something I was thinking about today, and it's a challenging thing I think to work on because our multitasking is so ingrained in terms of like a habit and just automatic reaction. But like a simple one is like someone talking to you, just trying to, you're on your phone. Everybody's always talking to each other on their phones, which again, fundamentally think is very cool. How much we want to just communicate and do as many things as possible at once, but just try and look up at them, So that's been something I've been thinking about a lot, is slowing down the need for multitasking. And when somebody's talking to you, or, give them some eye contact. Because when they're busy and you give them some eye contact and talk to them and kind of just pause for a second, they kind of seem to respond in kind, which there's probably some sort of like social psychology, biological, sociological, whatever reaction of like mimicry for why that works. But I was thinking about that a lot today, especially when I see just so many places how communication gets messed up. Even in spots where there's, it has the best intention or a very clear intended goal. It's just very easy for it to get screwed up. And that can be annoying. It just cause a lot of friction. So that's probably a very simple place, low-hanging fruit, to make those interactions better. Anyway, back on it. Getting chatty again. Moving out of the rut. More tomorrow.